Hello viewers, welcome to the lecture series on alkyl halides. We have been discussing about the reactions of alkyl halides. So far in the reactions of alkyl halides, we have talked about the structure of alkyl halides. Then we recalled some of the very important terms which will be in general used throughout the study of reactions of alkyl halides, and in particular we have discussed the substitution reactions of alkyl halides. The two types of mechanisms which are shown during the substitution reactions, that is SN1 and SN2, were dealt in detail, and today we plan to take it further. The reactions of alkyl halides, in particular substitution reactions by SN1 and SN2 mechanism, and there we would discuss the factors which affect SN1 and SN2 reactions. Then we will take up another types of reactions shown by alkyl halides, that is elimination reactions, and here again we discuss two types of mechanisms, that is E1 and E2 depicted by alkyl halides. At the end of the lecture, we would sum up. The nucleophilic substitution reactions of alkyl halides can be depicted by two types of mechanisms as was done in previous lecture, that is SN1 and SN2, and if we recall, SN2 is the substitution nucleophilic biomolecular, which is a single step mechanism having a second order. The rate of reaction depends on the concentration of alkyl halide as well as the concentration of nucleophile. The formation of pentacoordinate transition state is the rate determining step in SN2 mechanism. Similarly, SN1 mechanism is substitution nucleophilic unimolecular. It is a two-step mechanism which shows first order kinetics. The rate of reaction depends only on the concentration of the alkyl halide, and formation of carbocation in the first step is the rate determining step. So, with this, let us look into the factors which affect these two types of mechanisms. So, the structure of the substrate, the concentration and reactivity of the nucleophile, the effect of the solvent, the nature of the leaving group are the factors. Now, effect of substrate structure on SN2 reactions. The substrate is attacked by the nucleophile from the back side with the halogen atom still bonded to the carbon atom. Therefore, less crowding at the carbon will help in easy access of the nucleophile. The order of reactivity towards SN2 reaction is the methyl halide is most reactive, followed by a primary halide, followed by a secondary which is much reactive than a tertiary and which is more reactive than the allyl or benzyl halides. If we look into this structure, the methyl halide is less crowded and the approach of nucleophile is easier to the carbon. Primary halide is more crowded and the secondary is more than primary, whereas tertiary halide is so crowded that nucleophile finds it difficult to approach the carbon to which the halogen atom is attached. So, the reactivity is that the transition state requires least crowding and therefore, the gradation as mentioned. And it has been experimentally observed that with methyl halides the reaction is 150 times faster as compared to the other types which are very low reactive. In case of SN1 reactions, the first step is the formation of carbocations. The stability of carbocations depends on the presence of alkyl groups. Therefore, the order of reactivity towards SN1 reactions is just the opposite to that of SN2 reaction, which means a tertiary alkyl halide is most reactive, which is more reactive than a secondary. The secondary is more reactive than a primary. The methyl halide is the least reactive. The allyl and benzyl cations are also stable due to resonance stabilization. Therefore, they also show SN1 mechanism, and that is what we did in our previous episode also, that alkyl carbocations, because of inductive and hyperconjugation effects, show extra stability. More the number of alkyl groups, more is the stability. In case of benzyl carbocation also, there are number of resonating structures which stabilize the carbocation, which is formed in the first step of the SN1 reaction. And here again, more the number of phenyl groups, more is the stability. The resonating structures are possible with allyl carbocations also, and the stability is equivalent to that of a secondary carbocation. As you can see here, that this allyl halide gives a carbocation which is in resonance with the other structure. Therefore, it also stabilizes the carbocation. The rates of SN1 and SN2 reactions are affected by the concentration and strength of nucleophile, and the rate of SN2 reaction is proportional to the concentration of the alkyl halide and the nucleophile. The rate of SN2 reactions depends on both the concentration and the type of the nucleophile. A charged nucleophile is better than its neutral counterpart. Thus, a hydroxide and an alkoxide ion are better nucleophiles than water and the alcohol respectively. Effect of the solvent on SN1 and SN2 reactions. And if we look into the solvents, the types of solvents are two: polar and non-polar. The non-polar solvents mostly are the organic solvents like hexane and benzene, whereas polar solvents are further divided into protic and aprotic. The protic solvents like water, methanol have a proton which can be hydrogen bonded to the other atom. The aprotic molecules are polar, but they do not have a provision of hydrogen bonding. For example, DMSO, dimethyl sulfoxide. Polar aprotic solvents are the solvents which do not have protons available for hydrogen bonding, and the transition state in SN2 is less polar, and the solvent solvates the metal cation rather than the anion, making the nucleophile available. SN2 reactions take place in polar aprotic solvents which have strong dipoles but do not have hydroxide or NH groups. Some of the examples of polar aprotic solvents are DMF, DMSO, and this is HMPA. So, the SN1 reactions take place in polar protic solvents. The polar protic solvents solvolize the polar transition state, that is the carbocation and the nucleophile. Polar solvents have a proton that can form hydrogen bonds and cause solvolysis. For example, we have alcohol, ammonia, water, and it solvolizes the carbocation in this manner. The C plus ion is there, which forms hydrogen bonds with the solvent. The nucleophile also gets solvolized with the solvent like this. All around the nucleophile are the solvent molecules. The SN2 reactions are affected by the leaving group also. The weaker the base, the better it is a leaving group, and SN1 follows the same order as far as the effect of nature of leaving groups is concerned. Thus, if we see the halogen atoms, we will find that iodide is the best leaving group and the worst leaving group is fluorine. It is the reverse of their basicities, that iodide or iodine is the weakest base, whereas fluorine is the strongest base. If we look into the reactions depicting the effect of nature of leaving groups, we will see that the relative rates show that an iodide has a high reactivity, which is 30,000 times more than that in case of fluoride. If we compare the SN1 and SN2 reactions from various points of view, we will see that the mechanism of SN1 is unimolecular involving 2 steps, whereas the mechanism of SN2 is biomolecular with only 1 step. The rate of reaction in case of SN2 depends on the substrate, and in case of SN2 it is dependent on the nucleophile as well as substrate. The SN1 is first order, whereas SN2 is second order. The nucleophiles are favored by the neutral nucleophiles in case of SN1, whereas strong nucleophiles are required in case of SN2. The solvents, protic solvents are favoring SN1, whereas aprotic solvents favor SN2. The alkyl groups, bulky alkyl groups favor SN1 reaction, whereas the less substituted alkyl groups favor SN2 reaction. As far as the stereochemistry is concerned, SN1 gives a racemic mixture, whereas SN2 leads to the inversion of configuration. So, with this we finish the substitution reactions of alkyl halides. We start with another reaction depicted by alkyl halides, which is called as elimination in general and beta elimination in specific. So, what are eliminations? Eliminations is the removal of a hydrogen halide from an alkyl halide in presence of a strong base. If we look into this reaction, ethyl bromide reacts with sodium hydroxide, giving an alkene, ethylene. Sodium bromide and water are eliminated during the reaction. Because here this involves either the removal of HX or some other halide, the reaction is also called dehydrohalogenation, and it results in the formation of a double bond. Thus, it leads to the formation of an alkene. In fact, dehydrohalogenation and beta eliminations are the methods of preparation of alkenes. So, if we see in beta elimination, why we call it beta is because we have the halogen group attached to the alpha carbon, whereas the hydrogen is attached to the beta carbon in an alkyl halide. And during the removal of hydrogen halide, these two atoms, these two carbon atoms are involved, where hydrogen is at beta carbon and the halogen atom is at alpha carbon. So, we call it as 1,2 elimination or beta elimination. Elimination reactions in alkyl halides also follow two types of mechanisms, E2 and E1, which are analogous to the SN1 and SN2 reactions in case of nucleophilic substitutions. So, E2 reaction is elimination bimolecular. As can be seen in this reaction, there is a base which is acting on the proton or the hydrogen of the alkyl halide, leading to the shift of this bond and removal of the halogen atom, leading to the production of an alkene. Another mechanism is E1, that is elimination unimolecular, which takes place via the formation of a carbocation, leading again to the formation of an alkene. Let us look into the E2 mechanism. E2 mechanism, unlike the SN2 mechanism of nucleophilic substitution, is a single step concerted and takes place without the formation of an intermediate. The proton and the bromide in this case are removed simultaneously via a transition state. And if we look into this transition state, here similar to again the SN2 reactions, we have hydroxide ion which is partially attached to this proton, and this is the bromide ion which is again partially attached to this carbon. There is a partial double bond in this transition state. The rate is dependent on the substrate and the base concentration, and the rate equation for the reaction is dependent on both the concentration of the alkyl halide as well as the base. Therefore, the reaction is bimolecular and it follows a second order kinetics. Hence, the name E2, elimination bimolecular, beta or 1,2 elimination. So, there are some experimental facts which substantiate the E2 mechanism. First of all is the kinetic evidence. The rate is dependent on the substrate and the base concentration. Therefore, it follows a second order kinetics. The stereochemical evidence is very important in case of elimination reactions, where actually the condition is that the H and X should be in the same plane as the sp3 orbitals of the carbons bearing H and X, because these overlap in the alkene to form a double bond. The orbitals must overlap in the transition state, hence the polarity is very important. For an effective overlap, the atoms H, the two carbons involved and the halogen atom should be in the same plane. There are two conformations, syn periplanar, when both the departing group and are on the same side, or it is anti-periplanar when the departing groups are on the opposite sides. If we look into this pictorial depiction, we will see that this is syn periplanar conformation, where hydrogen and the halogen atom are on the same side of the plane, tetrahedral carbon rather, and this is an anti-periplanar situation where hydrogen and the halogen atom are anti to each other. Now, syn periplanar is the eclipsed conformation and it leads to a front side attack, whereas anti-periplanar is a